everybody, it's me, Terry, with the Drone Cap, but you know that. That's why you're here. Anyway, thanks for watching the show, and as always, we've got fun stuff. We got cool stuff. So today, not really like a big major announcement or anything, but shifting gears and adding some layers to the Drone Cap. Now, of course, what we primarily talk about are drones, aerial cinematography, camera settings, all that kind of stuff, flying regulations, everything we've talked about. But there's a lot more that support the entire scope of aerial cinematography. By that, I mean accessories, computers, external hard drives, file management, all these things. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but my background is in computers and computer technology. I've been an Apple consultant for many, many years, lots of years, which in that technology led me into drone technology, which is why I'm here now. So there's a lot of these support things that all come into play, because after you're flying, you get all your great photos and your great video. You get on the ground, you pop your micro SD card out. Well, what do you do now? Well, you've got to load it to your computer, even load it to your tablet, your iPad or something, and deal with the data and the files there. So in some upcoming episodes, we're going to be getting into that. We're going to talk about your computers. We're going to talk about how to back up your files, how to keep your stock library nice and tidy and neat, and even build it, even start it if you don't have it started yet. So there's a lot more things we've got coming. It's not all about drones, but it is all about drones. If that makes any sense. Puzzle of the day. Riddle. But today I want to talk about some accessories, and the word screen that jumps out is referring to the screen that you use on your flight controller. So what does that mean? Well, as you've probably seen if you've been flying drones for a while, or if you're just getting started, or if you're just shopping in the market, you've probably seen how the controllers typically are set up to use your cell phone for your screen. That's cool, that's fine. That works pretty well, but there are some limitations to that. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and we're going to talk about some controllers and configurations, and a little bit of ways to get more out of this and make your flying easier. And again, what I always say, avoid those pitfalls. When you get out on site or get on set, you don't want some goofy little thing to screw up the whole thing. So let's kind of jump right in here. We're going to talk about 3 types of controllers. So this controller, you've probably seen these. This is a Mavic style, DJI Mavic style controller. These have been around a while, since the original Mavic 1 came out, and they haven't changed a whole lot. Now, some of the models like the Mavic Pro, they have a little black and white screen here that gives you a little bit of metrics, tells you a little bit about what's going on with the flight, the radio strength signal, a few things like that. The Mavic Airs and Minis, they don't have any screen here. It's just basically a holder for the control sticks. So that's one layout. Now let's talk a little bit about this controller. It's small, it's compact, it fits in the bag real nice, it's easy, it's not heavy, it's whatever, it's good to carry around. And to use it, see if you can see this, these 2 arms on the bottom swing out. Now that makes it easy to take your phone, your mobile device, and it just kind of sort of pops in there. And it has a little cable on the side. Make sure I got it in there nice. Boom, it's right in there. So it gives you a nice screen. Antennas up here. You've got 2 antennas. We'll pop them both up. Why not? You got your 2 antennas there, and that gives you your controller, your remote. All right, this is kind of a handy thing. Again, this is a personal opinion thing. This is just me. Other people love it, so just my words, not necessarily gospel. Flying with this, remember, you're holding the controller like this. You're probably holding it down somewhat. You've got to constantly keep an eye on your drone. So you're scanning the sky, you're keeping an eye on what's going on up there, and you're also seeing on your controller screen what the drone sees. So you've got 2 things to do. But having the screen on the lower part of the controller requires you to have to look further down. So you're taking your eyes from one angle to quite a bit of a steep angle. So you're going back and forth, and doing that, your eyes are having to focus and change focus constantly. Now, it's, in my opinion, it's good to minimize that. So again, this controller is designed for portability convenience, and sorry about that. It's about 3,000 degrees out here in the Sunshine State, where we don't have any rain right now. So it's sweltering hot. So anyway, there we have it. So anyway, that's nice. It's convenient. You can pop it together easy, and that works great. Now, you can even take this controller. Now, if you need a little bigger screen, say like an iPad mini, this will even accommodate an iPad mini. It takes a little finagling here, but you can get it in there, and it will work just fine. But here's the thing. Not a big fan, because again, you're working the sticks and all that, but look how my hands are placed. I mean, it's kind of this weird angle. I don't have much of a grip on there, and honestly, this feels, it's just got that much grip on there. It just doesn't feel real stable. And if you're moving around, you're concentrating on your drone, you're concentrating on what's going on, you got all these things going on around you, this just isn't a super ideal thing. Now, that said, they do make a bunch of accessory things that are tablet holders that mount in here, and they have a ball swivel on it so you can mount the tablet up here. Again, it kind of obscures your sticks, but that's okay because you can work those by feel. So that is kind of controller number one. Put this guy away. Now, let's jump over to my Autel controller. Now, I'm not going to get preachy about it. Whew. Boy, it's hot. Not going to get preachy about the Evo. I love the Evo. We all know I love the Evo. Autel knows I love the Evo. I tell everybody I love the Evo. Check out the Evo controller. It's kind of similar, right? Let's keep it all folded up. It's pretty dang similar. About the same size, kind of the same layout. It's got a couple arms that pivot out, but check out this difference. All these are for holding onto the controller. Not bad, huh? So they aren't doing double duty. They aren't playing, holder and handles. So you can kind of really get a good grip around there. You can really get a good handle on the controller. So it gives you a much better, much more confident feel. Now, you have this, which pops up. Well, what could it be? Well, you know what it is. It's a holder for your device. It's that simple. Boom, snaps right in there. Now check out that configuration. The cool thing about this is your mobile device is up on top of your controller. Again, you're looking up at your drone, you're looking down at your controller, but you have less angle. You're not having to look up and down as far, and it just seems like a much more natural position, a much more natural place to have your controller screen. And as a bonus, I'm not going to flip it on right now. Not sure if you can see. The controller for the Evo has its own built-in screen. What's that mean? Well, kind of like I mentioned with the Mavic Pro controller that has the black and white screen that gives you some digits like a digital watch would to give you some information there. This is an actual real screen, a real display screen. It's an OLED display. It's like 3 point whatever inches. Not exactly a giant screen or anything, but it will show you the metrics while you're watching what the camera sees up here. Now, what if you just have to get a quick shot and you don't want to even plug in your other screen? Have a button right here that switches the display on, and you can see what the camera sees right here. So you don't even need to connect your phone if you don't need to. Really handy. Comes in handy. Again, it's not the biggest screen in the world. It's going to be a bit limited to see and touch and feel. But hey, it's a feature, and it works really, really well. So you have that. Now let's jump into the latest, greatest. All right, we know about the love affair with the Evo. Ain't going to deny it. But I'm really, really digging the Mavic Air 2. The Mavic Air 2 has an entirely new controller. I think DJI has been listening to some of the gripes and moans and complaints about this guy over the years. So they redesigned the controller. Now, see what's different? It's bigger. Well, a few people have been whining about that. Oh, it's so big. Trust me, it ain't that big. It's the size of my hand. Now, I do have some kind of big clunky hands, but hey, it's about hand size. So it's not giant. You got to get a huge suitcase with wheels on it to roll it around. But look at that. There are no arms to pop out, so you don't have to worry about breaking one. You don't have a mechanical thing moving around. It has really nice rubberized grips and contour here on the back. So just naturally, you have a really good grip on this thing. It ain't falling out of your hand. You've got a nice grip. Okay, but what about connecting your mobile device? Right here, this piece just pops out, just slides right out, spring-loaded. And check this out. The cable even lives right down in here. So you don't have to go hunting for your cable. It's always plugged in and coiled up. You just unplug it and you pop your mobile device in like that. Voila, you're ready to fly. You've got your controller screen at the top where we like it. Easy to see. But what about them their antennas? Well, even the Evo has the little tiny skinny antennas you have to pop up. Just like the old Mavic has. What? No antennas? How is it? Oh, maybe this is the big antenna. So this functions as the antenna and the device holder. Again, you're not going to break it off. You don't have to worry about banging these antennas around or getting in position. They're right there. So that makes it really, really easy. You're done with that, pop it out, slip it down, you're ready to go. So again, advancements in remote design. All right, you might be wondering, why am I so excited? Why am I so wound up about remote controls? Stop and think about it. This is the part that's in your hand every second of the flight. The drone is out there doing its thing, and you better darn sure well have a good controller to keep you in contact and communication with it. So you have to be happy with your controller. You have to be happy with the screen that you're using on the controller. So that being said, let's hit the brakes a little bit. What about that iPad mini we were talking about? How does it fit in these? This is where accessories come in. Now, I know people that get the adapters, like I mentioned earlier, to connect to the Mavic Mini type, Mavic style controller with the arms at the bottom, and they'll put things on there as big as a 12.9 inch iPad. Now that's to me a little overkill. It's a little heavy, and it just makes your whole device cumbersome and unwieldy. I'm not a fan of doing that. I wouldn't suggest it. That's why the iPad Mini, it's just a little under 8-inch screen, is perfect. It's big enough to see a really good picture. It's big enough to touch all the targets you want for all your camera settings and go through all the menus and everything. But it does not fit in here. It does not expand enough. So what do? Well, we have to start looking around. And again, this is where I try to come through for you. I found a bunch of adapters. Well, first of all, let's hide this. You weren't supposed to see that yet, but you did. So anyway, there's a bunch of adapters out there. There's some big, heavy aluminum ones. Again, they don't weigh 20 pounds, but they add weight. They take several minutes to set up and bolt together and do all these things, and they're cool. I mean, they're not crappy devices, but they're something else to contend with. They're big in your bag to pack up and tear down and set up and all this time. I like things to be simple and effective. I found this dude online. It's could not be simpler. It's a piece of 3D printed plastic. Drone enthusiast designs and makes these, and he sent me one to try out. And how does it work? Well, we just slide our Mini up into it. Boom, snaps in place. Now, can you see that edge right here? Then we just take it and we pop it right into place just as if it were a phone. And there we have our iPad Mini as a control screen on the controller. Not only that, This guy was thoughtful enough in his design to put this little tab with a loop so you can attach a lanyard around your neck in case the controller would fall out of your hands. You've got that there. Pretty darn cool. So, big fan of this this device. And it's so easy to install and remove because it sort of stays clipped to the iPad, so you don't have to worry about your iPad falling out. And again, it just slides right into the groove there, and you're in business. This is the kind of thing that will save you a ton of time when you're getting out there to get your shot. Now again, I'm not saying you get out there and rush around and jump through things and cut corners. You have a lot to do with your pre-flight checklist, checking your batteries, checking your airspace, checking your weather, checking the people around, checking the environment. You've got a lot of things to think about. So the more we can simplify some of these little things to make the operational things easier, the better and more efficient you're going to be out there flying. Now, here in the Sunshine State, we have a lot of sunshine. He's a comedian. So, you'll get out there a lot of times, and the sun will blow out your screen. I mean, you can't see your screen, so what do? Why, you just pull out your sunshade, pop it into place. Let's make it all nice and neat here. And there you go. So now we have a sun shield. You can find these on Amazon. They're not much, $12, $15, something like that. And that blocks the sun from around your device. And it fits right on here. It doesn't change anything at all. Let me put this back on there. So now, it's got the controller in place with a sun shield, and I'm ready to put the drone in the air and be able to see my screen without the sun intruding. Again, a really easy thing. It's held on with 2 rubber bands on the sides and works really well. All right, so let's kind of finish up a little bit here with talking about the mobile devices. And you might be wondering why I've been talking iPhone, iPad, all those sort of things. And I did mention my background is with Apple. And so, as such, that doesn't mean I'm entirely an Apple fanboy and all that stuff. Because you have the same thing with drone manufacturers. You've got DJI guys that would never touch an Autel, and vice versa. Autel guys won't touch a DJI. I mean, it's just all silliness. Use the best product that works. But there is something just to really be aware of if you're buying a drone and you already have a mobile device that you plan on using with it. There is the compatibility issue that you have to be aware of whether your drone and your remote. Remember, your remote control is running a certain type of software or firmware, and there is an app that you're going to be downloading from the manufacturer, whether it be DJI, Autel, it doesn't matter. They all have their app that loads onto your mobile device that you control all your camera settings, your flight control settings, and all that. You have to make sure that that's compatible with your device. With iOS devices, whether it be an iPad or iPhone, those are supported in a pretty broad way. I mean, you can go back to as far back as like an iPad Mini 4 for sure, and in some of the previous generation DJI products, you can go all the way back to an original iPad Mini, or some of the full-size iPads like the iPad Pros, the iPad Airs, and all those. A lot of people use those. The thing is, the operating system iOS is just a single system, whether it's version 13 or 12 or 11, whatever. So there's not a lot of variance there. So it makes it easier for the developer, being DJI, Autel, or whoever, to issue software that's going to be compatible with that. Now, Android, on the other hand, again, it's a good operating system, a lot of good hardware out there, but there are about 100 million different versions of Android designed to fit on about the same number of hardware devices. LG, I mean, it just goes on and on, all the different brands. That makes it a moving target for the developers. So you're going to have to make sure that the software is going to run on your device. Perfect example. I have this LG Stylo 3. It's a couple years old. It's not the latest, greatest. I don't use it for a phone. I use it for a control screen for my Autel Evo on the controller if I'm not using the iPad. So I have a few different things I use. Just depends on what I need at the time. It works really well, does a great job. It's running version 7, Android version 7, and it does a very good job. It doesn't have any stutters, any hiccups, any slowdowns like that. But I just got the Mini, the Mavic Mini, right? So the minimum requirements to run the software, the DJI Fly app from DJI, required Android version 6. I thought, okay, that's cool. I'm out of the woods. I'm running version 7 here, and it should be fine. Go to the Google Play Store. Guess what? It won't load. It won't download. Why won't download? I investigate. I dig into it. Spend some time with it. Turns out that the hardware is only a 32-bit processor. It takes a 64-bit processor to run it. So even though I can run the operating system 7, it's not the 64-bit version. So here's where you get into this mix and match shell game of, does my device work, even though the operating system should work, but the hardware doesn't match the requirement. So you see where I'm getting at. You're going to have consistency issues with Android, so just be careful if you're using Android and you're planning to use that device with your controller. Make sure, or you're going to end up having to buy another control screen, another device for a control screen. So anyway, that's just for my little bit on that. It's not throwing stones at Android and patting iOS on the back or vice versa or anything. It's just the reality of it. And so there's, again, that consistency issue between the types of systems. So anyway, your controllers, your remotes, your screens are very, very important. Just keep a sun shield on them. It's going to be a big plus in the sun. Keep them out of the sun as much as possible because they will overheat and shut down. Believe it or not, they have thermal sensors too. And if we were out like this prolonged, I would definitely be keeping them in the bag or in the shade or somewhere cool if they weren't being used, because we don't want a thermal sensor to trip in a control screen. Because again, your drone might be ready to go, your controller might be ready to go, but your control screen, that'll stop the show. But anyway, that's just a little bit kind of moving into the techie side of things. We're going to be, again, talking more about computers, managing files, data transfer speeds, all kinds of stuff like that, because these are all things that support your drone operations. I mean, flying and camera operations, that's kind of the main thing, but there's all these little things that make a difference too that you're going to need to know. So anyway, as always, any questions, give me a shout. Terry at blackdogdroneops.com, or I am a mentor on the Indie Brigade, romeropictures.com/mentors. Come on there, book a session with me. Let's talk drone controllers, computers. If you have a computer question, anything, that's what I'm here for. This is what I do all day, every day. I am here for you. So let's make your movies better. Let's get some cool shots. Let's build your stock photo library. Man, we got it. Oh, we got so much stuff. Get in touch with me. See you next week. As always, any questions, you just want to talk drone or anything, ping me, Terry at blackdogdroneops.com. Or, I'm a mentor on the Indie Brigade. Just book a session. We'll get deeper into it. We'll talk about drones or whatever you need to know. So anyway, get in touch. Look forward to talking to you.